and welcome to a brand new day. My name is Ramon Ray, and you're watching the Rundown with Ramon. And I'm so glad you're here today. You know, all we ask is 30 minutes of your time, give or take, to give you the top things you need to know to live your best life or start or grow your business. My name is Ramon Ray, publisher of zoneofgenius.com, started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books, and I'm here to help you, give you the quick tips and insights you need to live your best life. I hope your day today is going well. I hope it's fantastically beautiful. And if it is, thanks for letting me be a part of your day and you stopping by to the Rundown with Ramon. If your day's not so well, I hope the time you spend with us today can help you get a little better in your day. So let's begin the Rundown with Ramon. Are you excited? I sure am. Here we go. Ding, 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 ding. Why most workplace wellness benefits don't actually work. As I was reading this and unpacking this article, I was like, that says a lot. There's so much going on in quote unquote workplace benefits, but why might it not be working as well as we think it does? Well, a recent study by Oxford fellow William J. Fleming in the Industrial Relations Journal found that workers who participated in company-sponsored wellness benefits, including sleep apps, mindfulness seminars, and even the sort of one-on-one coaching sessions this AR rep offered, were no better off than their fellow colleagues who opted out of these initiatives, says an article in Fast Company. It goes on to say the corporate wellness market is a billion-dollar industry, which makes sense. 39% of employees report experiencing poor mental health systems related to work. 99% of employees report increasing their investment in mental health programs, which are touted as a way for progressive presenting organizations to help combat employees' burnout, low engagement, and the general U.S. grind culture that's inherently bad for everyone's mental well-being. So what do we do about it? Corporate America is offering all these programs, but studies, it seems to be showing they're not working. Well, I can say one thing without even going into this article. Companies want to do something. They want to either be seen as good, even if they don't care, but I think many companies do generally do that. They have the budgets to do something with that. So they're thinking, wow, we're asking you to be here 10, 12 hours a day. We're asking you to grind. The least we can do is help you be more productive, help you live your best life as best as we can. So let's call in consultant Jenny. Let's call Dr. Bob and see how they can help you in your life. But studies show it may not be working. However, the article says something about this rush to wellness iffy, the workplace feels fishy to me, says the writer. Wellness in general is an ambiguous term that can run the gamut from legitimate forms of mental and physical care. Legitimate forms, yes, such as various things to do, but then there's things that may not be working. We've moved past the days of casual Fridays and office foosball tables. So what to do? So this writer reached out to the person who did this study and tried to understand and unpack really what's going on. They say here, it's not all cynicism on the workplace wellness front, though. Fleming's study found a notable exception to the rule. Workers who were given the opportunity to do charity or volunteer work did seem to have improved well-being. And an older study on the subject from the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine makes a very astute point when answering, do workplace health promotion wellness programs work? It depends. And so, again, I think none of these things are going to be right and wrong. None of these things do we know exactly what works or what doesn't work, but there's this middle answer here. What really works and what doesn't? The author concludes by saying, I never ended up consulting any of these personal coaches, but I happened to run into her just a week later while playing tennis in the middle of the day. She made a point to come over, assure me she wished things ended differently, and check on my well-beings. So listen here. Are we saying that corporate America and corporations in general around the world should not have corporate mental health and well-being and workout and all the gamut of programs? Of course we're not saying that. These things are important and you should do this. But I think we're saying that we all individually have a responsibility to take care of our mental health. Maybe that means checking with your insurance or out of pocket and working with a practitioner. One of my good friends, Dr. Jamie Lacey, she's a great trauma coach. Something like that 101 may maybe what's for you. Maybe talking to your local pastor or spiritual leader for advice as well. But I think it's an interesting article that we need to do our best, of course, to help people. But I guess it's saying that corporate wellness programs in and of itself may not be the only thing. Hey, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon, and I'm so glad you're here today. If you're just joining me, all we ask is about 30 minutes of your time. Give you the top things you need to know to live your best life and start or grow your business. So if you're just joining, buckle up, hang on to your seat as we continue on with the Rundown with Ramon. Ding, 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 ding. 3 fundraising tips from high-performing female founders. I really like this article, not because they're female founders. I'm not so much into I'm a black guy, I'm a guy, I'm a girl, I'm a not, whatever. I think advice is good, but the article was entitled 3 Fundraising Tips from High-Performing Female Founders. 3 female founders who have built their businesses into household names share some tips for raising capital amid this frigid funding climate. So the founders here, we have Honeypot founder Bay Dixon, Globar founder Rachel Liverman, and we have Dagne Dover, co-founder of Deepa Gandhi. So some tips they're giving that may help us. 1, the biggest offer isn't always the best. This is interesting. After a year when the total value of exits by female founders fell by more than a third and hit its lowest level in 6 years, Beatrice Dixon, co-founder and CEO of Atlanta-based feminine care brand The Honeypot, secured a massive buyout in a $380 million deal, reportedly one of the largest ever for a Black woman founder. She sold the majority stake in her company to Compass Diversified, a holding company in Westport, Connecticut. So that 9-figure is nice, but they weren't the highest number, but that wasn't the thing that mattered. Instead of fixating on the headline deal number, which can cause a distraction to you, Dixon said founders should focus more on investor fit and choose wisely. So as you're looking for the deal for your business, whatever that may be, an exit, a purchase, or something, it's not always what's the biggest top level number, because you may say yes to a deal that comes your way and regret who you're working with. You may say yes to a deal that comes your way, but realizing the profitability is a lot less than you think it may be. So you want to consider that and check that out as you're looking at the next deal that you do. Is it really that good? Or is it not? And I'd love to know what your deal's been like, what you're going through in your business in regard to especially fundraising in your business. Number 3 or number 2, don't be afraid to fill up your cap table. When Rachel Liverman founded Globar, a New York-based chain of facial studios in 2019, she was told target 1 or 2 investors. The entrepreneur ignored that advice and raised her first $1 million in a friends and family round of more than 30 people. Some of who wrote her checks as small as $2,000. Anyone I met, I was fundraising back then. She recalled I was almost doing a yard sale, says the article. So she pushed back on this conventional wisdom that it worked for Liverman. So she said, don't be afraid to fill up your cap table early on with lots of different investors. I'm not saying that's for you. I'm not saying it is for you, but that's something to keep in mind. Are you going to be wanting to have just 1 or 2 marquee investors, or should you have a lot of investors? And as the article goes on and says, the catch-all approach brought in an injection of cash and laid the groundwork for Globar to secure a $10 million Series A round, which is led by Salt Lake City-based private equity firm Peterson Partners. So it's important to understand this. You don't just have to seek out 1 or 2 investors as your business is growing. It may be several that are working for you. When in doubt, trust your gut. Dagne Dover, a New York-based bag brand that's known for its neoprene monochromatic backpacks and landed on Inc.'s list of best workplaces, blah, 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 has raised $2.3 million to date. Co-founder and COO Deepa Gandhi said, when in doubt about a deal or the deal maker, trust your gut feelings about the investors sitting across the room. The question to ask is, are these people that you want to work with for years to come? Our intuition, our spidey sense was always like, I don't think we want to be stuck in a boardroom with this person. So the point being, what will you do for your business as well? Gut instinct is not bad. And I think as I was talking about this company earlier, I got it mixed up. Dagne Dover is the brand name, and the CEO, just recap that, is Deepa Gandhi. So these three things we can learn, especially as we're fundraising, but I think it's not just as we're fundraising other parts of our business. One, trust your gut when you're not sure. Oftentimes, not always, your gut, as it's called, gut, your emotional intelligence, your mind, your spidey sense can help you because you're getting years of experience and all the time you don't know where to put it. But there's something in there that may not feel quite right when you really don't know and all things seem equal. Go with your gut instinct. Number two, don't be afraid to fill your cap table. It's okay, according to this investor, and you have to go your way, your route, to have a lot of different investors that can help you in your business. And number three, going from reverse here, the biggest offer isn't always the best. Don't just hold out and say, well, I like this offer because it's the biggest. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon on the publisher of zoneofgenius.com. Let me know how you're doing. Reach out to me on Instagram, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle, Ramon Ray Smart Hustle. You can DM me or check me out at RamonRay.com or zoneofgenius.com. Let's continue on The Rundown with Ramon. I hope you're enjoying this edition. I sure enjoy bringing it to you. How the Atlantic went from broke to profitable in 3 years. A few simple things they did. The Atlantic is a media publication. And when Nick Thompson joined, the magazine had a $20 million deficit and months earlier had laid off 17% of its newsroom. Traffic was down significantly, but a few things they did. He was given a mandate from Lauren Powell Job, the Atlantic's owner, dig the company out of its hole and make it self-sustaining. So what did he do? This is a 106-7-year-old publication. It's profitable, and its newsroom is growing. A successful turnaround that offers a glimmer of hope for the rest of the industry, which has laid off reams of journalists, says the article here in the Wall Street Journal. So what did he do? A core part of Thompson's strategy was to figure out how much readers would be willing to pay for a subscription. He ended up raising subscription prices by more than 50% and made it harder for people to read stories without paying. So he found out, what do people really want? What can the Atlantic offer that other people can't offer or cannot offer so well? You need to do this for your business as well. What makes you not necessarily different, because sometimes it can be hard to be different, but what makes you better could be. Or I think sometimes the saying goes, what makes us better, but I think it's more so what makes us different. So those things are sometimes hard to get together. So that's what he did. He said, what are people going to be willing to pay? Meanwhile, editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg oversaw an evolving editorial approach, moving away from day-to-day news coverage and taking bigger swings on fewer deeply reported stories that appeal to people from across the country and political spectrum. So these are things you can consider as you're looking to expand your business. It's not always how many SKUs, how many different items you have. It's not only how bling, 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 bling. You may want to go very deep and narrow to the core, to the heart of that customer who really believes in you and wants to hear from you. Subscriptions now account for 2/3 of revenue, compared with a little less than half when Thompson took the helm. That's a lot. So before he took the helm, it was less than half, but now it's 2/3 of revenue which support this business. And the other part of it is direct relationships with sponsors. Again, this is talking about a media company, The Atlantic, but I think the lesson can be applied here for your business as well. And again, this is The Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray, and I'm so glad you're here. Ding, 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 ding. 30 books that Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Bill Gates recommend reading. I thought this was interesting. Business Insider put this together. And books are books. Books are whatever they're worth, and I'm sure you read a lot of books. And by the way, if you want my list of best books for your business, I think if you go to zoneofgenius.com/best books, zoneofgenius.com/best books, you can see my little list of books I like. So what are some books that some of the best read? And again, these are best of the best, the famous billionaires of our time. But here's some books from Jeff Bezos. Favorite books were instrumental to the creation of products and services like the Kindle and Amazon Web Services. So one, The Innovator's Solution. This book on innovation explains how companies can become disruptors. It's one of 3 books Bezos made his top executives read one summer to map out Amazon's trajectory. Wow. The Innovator's Solution. I may get that book myself, so you definitely want to check that out. Number 2, The Goal, and this is by Elihu Goldratt. Also on the list was The Goal, in which Elio Goldratt and Jeff Cox examined the theory of constraints from a management perspective. Interesting. Another one, Peter F. Drucker, always a favorite. This book here is called The Effective Edge, the final book on Jeff Bezos' reading list for senior managers. The Effective Executive lays out habits of successful executives like time management and effective decision making. If you want to get smarter, look around. What are you putting into your mind? What podcasts are you listening to? What books are you reading? What events are you attending? What communities are you in? That's how high you're going to go. So those are a few books by Jeff Bezos. Continues on. Built to Last, Successful Habits of Visionary Companies. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. I may have it in one of the shelves behind me here, by Jim Collins. This book draws on 6 years of research from the Stanford University Graduate School of Business that looks into what separates exceptional companies from their competitors. Bezos said it's his favorite business book. Continues on. The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. This Kazu Ishiguro novel tells of an English butler in wartime England who begins to question his lifelong loyalty to his employer while on vacation. Bezos has said of the book, before reading it, I didn't think a perfect novel was possible. So that's something you may want to consider reading. Go here. The Black Swan, The Impact of the Highly Improbable. I believe it's a book I've read myself. Nassim Nicholas Taleb popularized the term Black Swan with this book, in which he defines such events as highly improbable, unpredictable, and impactful. Wow. These are books that I suggest you get on your reading list. Are you getting excited about hearing these books? I know it's a little dry listening to me reading it, but it's important that you're writing these down, noting these down. Again, if you want to get this full list of the books I have, just go to zoneofgenius.com/best books. You want this list, just reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, whatever it is, and I'll try to get this list to you. But it's in the Wall Street Journal, and you can look at this. It's on Business Insider. So another good book, Sam Walton, Made in America. I love reading books of historical stories of entrepreneurs who have grown businesses. I love it. In his autobiography, the billionaire of Walmart founder, Sam Walton, recalls his career building one of the largest retailers. And it goes on and on and on. Other books about creation. And, well, let's see what that book is. Life and How to Make It, from the inventor of the groundbreaking computer game Creatures. Another book here, Lean Thinking, Banish Waste and Create Wealth in Your Corporation. Listen, I'm not going to read this whole list to you. I'm going to end there, but I want you to get this in your mind. As you read books, take notes, dog-ear them, underline them, highlight them, and see what books you can have to help your business get on the next level. If you're just joining me, my name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. All we ask is about 30 minutes, give or take, of your time to give you the top things you need to know to live your best life or start or grow your business. Ding, 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 ding. These 3 tips can help spring clean your work life and restore balance. So what are these 3 tips? Zoom fatigue, unread emails, and work stress. These 3 tips can help spring clean your work life and restore balance in Fortune Well, article by Alexa Mikhail. So 3 things. 1, attend to your email. Listen, most of us drowning in your email, but I filter a lot of my email out. So anything that's an email newsletter, I want to read it. It just doesn't have to go in my inbox that day and clog that up. The advice to attend to every unread email would send most people running. Globally, we send over 300 billion emails yearly, so the likelihood of achieving and maintaining net zero is low. We're in a digital unwellness phase, Moss says, suggesting people think about the pain points in their inbox and what to do about it. 1, unsubscribe from emails that no longer serve you. That's okay. Number 2, prioritize. Create and drop emails into themed folders for 10 minutes daily for 2 weeks. Prioritize. Alternately, make a do folder. Put everything you need to respond to that day in the folder in the morning and address them by the time the clock hits 5. So my version of that is I have a folder that all my email newsletters go into because I don't have to read them that day, most of them. And then I quickly respond to all emails, even if I have to do it briefly. And then I have no problem, moving emails that are not important at that time to an email folder that I can look at to later on. So that's my little hack. Seth Godin himself answers his emails, and I'm sure he has something similar to that. Optimize written communication is another way that you can maximize your use of email use. Beyond a personal morning cleanout, consider talking to your manager or team about the most effective way to streamline your communication using a tool like Slack or Google Chat or Zoho Chat. Any of these intra-company chats can help streamline the email that you get, because often our team emails are quick to the point, our team communication, and we don't have to get a steady stream of email clogging our inbox. We were fatigued by emails before, but then we added Slack and Teams and Google Docs and all the different places where we also share through written text. Moss says, if we don't need to send an email, is there a way for us to use different, even leaner communication? So, number 2, control meeting fatigue. Again, we're talking about how you can 3 tips that you can do it again. 3 tips that you can streamline your day-to-day communication. So number 2, control meeting fatigue. Post-pandemic hybrid work environments often require digital calls, but assessing the types and quantity of meetings is essentially to relieve fatigue. This is important. You don't have to be in every meeting. In the meetings you have, you can make sure they are absolutely efficiently run. Consider spending a chunk of your spring workplace clean by asking your team these questions. When is the optimal downtime for you? Are there meetings we can cut? Can we shorten meetings? Can we be more strict on our agenda? Are we constantly just going to a meeting to solve a problem? Is there a point in the meeting where we can create executable goals that don't require another meeting to follow up on? That's number 2. Number 3, prioritize balance. We've heard it time and time again, but it's true. Having a healthy work-life balance can make you more energized, engaged, and happy. Often pressures outside of our control can keep us online 24/7. So prioritize what's important to you and find that balance. And some ways you can do that are limit multitasking. Learn the art of managing up. Another way to prioritize balance is to manage up. If you're given multiple assignments at once, can you ask your manager about giving you enough time to focus on each one and devise a plan? So these are a few ways that you can have more structure in your day. Again, if you're just joining, my name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. Wall Street Journal had an interesting article that I wanted to touch on. We talk a lot about money, and money is important. But there's an interesting, maybe it's not a trend, but the aspect of, should you get less pay in lieu of having a happier life? Is it worth it to be paid $200,000, $150,000 a year and have the stress that might go with that? Taking less pay, having less responsibilities, possibly getting off the hamster wheel, writes the Wall Street Journal, and having a simpler life. If that's for you, maybe you can't take a pay cut. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But is there something to this? That we're living a calmer, easier life, even if we're getting less pay. Again, my name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. There's more to life than getting a check. Yes, a check helps us do that. Yes. But if we're getting a check, if we're getting all this money, but we're not able to have fulfillment, our family is not happy, then I would ask, why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? We're not living a fulfilled life. We're not. A couple of things I want to bring out today that I think should be good on The Rundown with Ramon. You'll never succeed in a complex market unless you try these strategies. Some markets are not easy. Complex industries offer opportunities in market needs, potentially profitable and expansion opportunities. But the key to being successful is developing and supporting a clearly differentiated value proposition that separates your organization from potential competitors. And here's how to do it. First, the article says, written by Tim Johnson, you have to define what a complex industry is. If you don't know what the complex industry is, how are you going to thrive in it or define it? So define it. Number 2, create and execute strategies to differentiate yourself from your competition. In a complex industry, how are you different? How can the customer know I want them for whatever reason it may be? As a result, you'll have better quality leads, a reduced sales cycle, higher margins, easier recruiting, and more effective fundraising. I'm not going to go deep in this from our friends at entrepreneur.com, but it's important to consider how to succeed in a complex market. And you're not going to do it unless first you even define what it is. Last but not least, interesting little article here. There's many ways we want to get publicity for our brands for sure. But at a high executive level, when you have journalists who want to poke and prod at you and kind of do gotcha moments, there's a number of bloggers like me who are not trying to get a gotcha moment. We're not trying to embarrass you. We just want to ask great questions. So the interesting article, next time you're trying to get an interview with your executive for a blog or podcast, maybe instead of going on CNN or something or MSNBC or Fox Business, where it can be a little contentious, go to a friendly blogger. Listen, my name is Ramon Ray. This is The Rundown with Ramon. I hope you're doing all right. I hope this Rundown with Ramon was excitingly good for you. Live your best life. Serve others. Be happy. Say sorry. Be empathetic. And I hope to see you next time on The Rundown with Ramon.